Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros. I hope everyone is feeling great. And I just wanted to touch a little bit more on what I was talking about yesterday, which is about success. And something came to mind this morning. I'm a morning guy. I wake up very early every single day. Even on the weekends, I'm up very early because that's just the way that I operate better, is very early in the morning getting started, and that way in the evening, especially on the weekends, I can actually have some time for my loved ones, my family, and I can do other things. And so that's why, I always shoot for starting my days very early every single day, especially when it comes to the work field. I get up early, I avoid all the crazy traffic, I get to the office early before anybody else gets there. That's just the way I operate, and I feel like I do it that way, then I'm a step ahead. So, touching a little bit again about yesterday, talking about success, something went through my mind this morning as I was doing my workout, and I realized that this road to success, it can get lonely, as I mentioned before, but also the road to success, it's a narrow road. It can become a narrow road. And the reason I say this is because when you decide that you want to be successful, that you want to level up in every aspect of your life, the road to success, leveling up in all the areas, is narrow. The reason why is because you gotta leave things behind. You gotta leave old habits, and you have to apply good ones. You have to make changes in your life. And when you make those changes, that means dropping things that are going to prevent you from reaching your goals. And that's the reason why I say that it is a narrow path. As a matter of fact, even in the scriptures, it talks about that the path to salvation is a narrow path, whereas wide is the road that leads to destruction. It's crazy because it's even mentioned in the Bible. But you can apply that to life. When you want to be successful and you want to do it the right way, even in fitness, if you want to do it the right way and you don't want to take shortcuts, you don't want to cheat, you don't want to put anything crazy in your body, inject anything, then the path toward building a nice body, it's also narrow. Because that means you got to drop the junk food. That means you got to stop eating the way that you used to eat. No more eating late at night. No more excessive desserts. It's a narrow path. That's why I say it's a narrow path. Anything that you want to achieve, in order for you to get there, it's going to get narrow because you're going to have to leave things behind. And that also includes people. Sometimes there are people in your life that they're not evil, but sometimes they may hinder your growth. And it's not everybody, but sometimes there are people that are going to hold you back, and you may have to disconnect, believe it or not. There's a lot of people that used to be in my life, and they are not in my life anymore as they once were. And I couldn't understand why it had happened. But now when I look back, it was necessary because they also have their own journey. And some of them didn't really have a journey. They're just living life, as whatever, distracted, not really aiming for anything, not really doing anything to improve their lives. So that's why sometimes in this path on the road to success, even people that are close to you, sometimes you might have to sacrifice those relationships in order for you to get to that next level, because sometimes they're just not with it. They're just not gonna join you. They're not gonna probably root for you, and it's gonna be an issue. So sometimes things like that will happen. So as I said before, that's why I tell you that the road to success, it is truly a narrow path. You know, a lot of times I sacrifice sleep. And it's not that I'm not sleeping at all. I sleep, I make sure that I'm going to bed early. I'm very disciplined with my time. I don't play with my time. There was a time in my life when I used to go to bed really late, watching movies and chilling. But I realized, hey, if you want to do this, if you want to build a better physique, if you want to achieve greatness, if you want to move up in the work field, in your career, then you got to make those changes, and you have to start getting proper rest to have better performance in the work field, and also have energy to be able to do your workouts. You got to get proper rest in order for you, you know, the whole thing with the calorie deficit and eating strict, you know, all this stuff. In order for you to have the energy and the strength to do it, you also got to get proper rest. So you have to do it. Make sure that you're going to bed early. And not only that, remember, going to bed early also helps you to avoid the temptation of having those late, you know, foods that you shouldn't be having. So as I said before, the road to success is also a narrow road, but it's also worth it, because even though it's a narrow path, I am happier than ever before. I feel joy. I feel how can I say? I feel accomplishment. I feel a sense of purpose now, because now I'm walking with goals in mind. I'm running toward these goals. I'm working toward these goals. So, and most importantly, having a relationship with God, building that personal, close, intimate relationship with God, that has been the biggest factor in this narrow path that I have committed to. So again, I encourage you, if you haven't done so, put God first when you commit in that narrow path towards success, and you're gonna see how God's grace will strengthen you every single day to be consistent and stay committed. It is awesome, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, there it is, folks. Remember, this path, there are things that you may have to sacrifice. But remember, even though you have to make these adjustments and these changes that you got to go through, it's worth it, because you're going to find yourself happier than ever before. Once you are walking with purpose, that is going to bring you joy, a lot of joy to your heart. And you're going to want to continue to work toward that. There'll be challenges, of course. There'll be setbacks. That's all part of it. But you're going to feel so much joy, and you're going to be so thankful, because you know that you're doing something with your life. You know that you're headed somewhere. And that somewhere is forward, people. So, ladies and gentlemen, keep on pressing forward. Do not give up. Stay committed in this path, and you will achieve what you are after, what you're looking for, and what you're chasing after. You're going to achieve it. Stay focused. As always, please watch out with what you're putting in your body, what you eat. Get proper rest. Take care of that mental health. Take care. Make time to go to the gym always. All right? Have that self-love. And I hope that you all have a beautiful and very blessed evening. And I'll be seeing you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.